Okay, well, we're back. So I think I'm going to switch gears for a little bit and use up some of these watercolors. So I got these super cheap watercolors that came out of that kit I showed y'all. Then this also came out of the thrift store, and it had some tape on it, but it doesn't look too used. There's a couple of them. Sorry, that dog's kissing me again. Gross. But they look to be relatively inexpensive. And then I got some in this other kit, and I think these might be kind of nice ones. So we're just going to use all these for watercolors, even if all you got is these. Go raid your kids' stuff. You know they're going to have some. And they're not going to use it. If they're not going to use it, you might as well. So take your water sprayer and just spray it. This is regular watercolor paper. And I did get this at the dollar store. And I'm not saying go to the specific store, dollar store. I'm not saying get any of these specific paints. I'm not saying I know anything that I'm doing, because I don't. This is just for entertainment, and, you know, we're just hanging out. So I got a bunch of brushes, too. And these are all just cheap brushes. In fact, some of my favorite brushes are makeup brushes. So I get these makeup brushes, once again, at the thrift store there in Jasper, Arkansas. And I've got a whole big, like a little cup thing, like a Play-Doh cup thing, full of them for like 50 cents. And I'm like, and they hold water nice, they hold paint nice. These are underrated. So I'm going to also get it wet. See how wet that is? And I'm just going to go ahead and let's start out just because everybody's going to have these, with some of these pot paints. I don't know what you call them, the little dried up pats that you get. So you just want to put it in there and just really get it wet, kind of turn it around. All right, and now just kind of check what the color does. See, all that water is going to make it kind of disperse. See how it looks all pretty? You can make some stripes. And that's just going to kind of soften that all out. Let's try putting in, rinse that out a little bit. Let's try putting in some orange. Let's see what that does. I don't really care for any of these colors. That pink's okay, and that green's okay. The rest of these colors, to me, they look a little muddy. But once again, I didn't pay anything for these, so. Oh, well, that's kind of nice, though. Oh, that's kind of nice. Look at that. All right, so on the rest of it, okay, we tried those. They were fine, but, you know. All right, let's try, since we've got some pink and orange already, let's try putting some of these on there. Look like they're already open. Does feel like they're fine, though. And I'm just going to put a little bit directly on here. Let's see. Let's try, there's no pink in this, so let's do a purple. Didn't I say I was looking for purple earlier? This is a nice little purple. This may be just ugly as sin, but yeah, it's open. Oh, crap, there just went a whole bunch. Well, and that dark goes a long way. Let's put a little bit over there. So, yeah, let's try spraying a little bit more water on it, because I'm not sure if this light is making it dry. This light, because I don't have enough light bulbs in my dining room light fixture. I have one bulb that's not burnt out. So this is a chicken hatching, one of them lights that's got the little pincher on one side and that big silver thing. I figure, hell, this will be all right. It's actually not too bad. So I got my water and my brush all wet with the water again. And I'm just going to kind of go through and get this orange wet, so it's not just a big blop. And, you know, I really like that color. Man, oh, man. And this is called Crafters Art Basics. And I know for a fact these are cheap. And look at that. So this is a big step up from the little pats that we had. But, you know, we're not gonna disparage anything, because, you know, sometimes that's all we got. So I'm just going to kind of spread this all over. And I'm doing this light color first, because as soon as I touch that dark color right here, boy, it's gonna Woo, that is a dark color. Lord Almighty, look at that. Yikes. Okay, let's kind of spread those around. You know what? Let's just flick some more water on it real fast. Okay. And you know what? Let's see. Where'd that Bigfoot guy go? Here he is. I swear this, I don't know where I even get these cards. This guy hunts big feet. Big feet? Bigfoot? Oh, that was a terrible idea, Miss. Okay, so let's just go ahead and scrape some of this off. Oh my God, where's my paper towels? So we're all doing this together. So didn't I just say I don't know what I'm doing? All right, so let's kind of pat it down a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay, so maybe not so much water. Let's try a little bit more of this orange though, because I done messed it up now, and I feel like, you know, it's already screwed up anyway. What am I gonna do? Waste free paint, you know, on some paper that didn't hardly cost nothing either. All right. And you know what? That's not a bad, look at that. That's a pretty color right there. So this was the orange, but there was still some of this purple mixed in. And I kind of like these little squiggles. Let's do some squiggles. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this, I know, you think I learned my lesson on this purple. Because you look at this and it don't look that dark. But boy, you touch it on there, and boom, it's dark. Golly. That's all right. Because I'm fixing to try something. Because you know what? That's just what we're doing. I'm going to go over here and look and see my kind of stamp looking stuff, what I got. And looks like, oh, I think a little sponge might work. Oh, hell, snap. I've already been using this one on some other stuff. This was just like a foam roller. Good night. Look at the dog hair on there. This is just like a foam roller for rolling paint on the wall, I guess. Because I do murals sometimes. I'm going to dip that in a little bit of water just because. And then I'm going to kind of blot it off. And then I'm going to kind of you know what? That ain't too bad. I am liking that. Especially when I take the dark part, then I put it into this light part. Need some up here. All right, let's get something else a chance to come out and play. Yeah, now I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Okay, so this was just another piece of index card or a piece of cereal box, I think, that I just took a hole punch and I punched a bunch of holes in it, and then I tore it up. So I'm not sure it's going to work with the watercolors, but you know, we can try it. Heck, why not? Let's get a fresh brush and let's get a little bit of blue out. Instead of putting it right on the paper this time, I think I might just put it on the. I think you'd probably term this right here as a stencil. I don't know all the correct terms. I'm just having fun. And I'm going to get it wet, this brush wet, but then I'm going to blot it out real good because I don't think, oh, there's still some other color in that from some other project. Well, there you go. That's what happens when you don't clean out your brushes good enough. And I'm just going to kind of tap this right here just to get a lot of good color on that. Now, if my Chihuahua will stop holding my hand long enough for me to reach down here. And I'm just going to kind of, I do know the term for this. It's called pouncing. Look at that. I know something. All right. Let's let this up, see what happened. Oh, look, I like that because it's not like an acrylic paint where it's going to hold that shape. See how it's fuzzing in? I'm going to put a few more real light ones here and there. Oh, that's not too bad. How about put one right here? Kind of connect these a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Maybe a few up here. And remember, if you're using any kind of stencil or any kind of don't just keep putting it down the same way. Flip them around every once in a while, and that way you're going to get some different shapes. Look, like this is a little too straight for me, so I'm just going to throw this out here. and just break it up just a little bit. All right. So I think that this poor paper is taking all that it's going to take for right now. So we're just going to set it aside. There's some elements on here I really, really like, and some elements on here that, you know, when I get it done, it'll be better. I really like this stuff. I really like this swirl. I like the way that the blue right here is kind of fading into the purple. Yeah, there's some good stuff. I really like this part. So I'm going to set this over here to dry. I don't have a drying rack per se either. So I'm just kind of stacking this all on the furniture, kind of off camera. All right, so that was some watercolor on some watercolor paper. What if you don't have watercolor paper? Well, here's some more of that index card. And, you know, I went and got some of these index cards. Actually, a friend actually gave me some of these index cards, a whole bunch of them. And I picked them up, and they do not make, we used to call these recipe cards because you'd write the recipe on it. And now, you know, of course, nowadays, there's no need to write a recipe. You just look them up, right? So, but they've gotten super thin. Like, this is just, they are not thick like they used to be. So, let's try just seeing what we can do on this. What happened to my water sprayer? There it is. I'm just going to put a little, just a misting, just to kind of like season up that paper. Let it get ready to do something. So, let's do some greens this time. Let's put a dot of green right there. And let's see. Is there any other? Let's see what's up here. Oh, I'm trying to reach way over, and I got this chihuahua. Well, that's not green, but here's some yellow. This might work. Some green and some yellow. Now, remember, these are just going to be the first layers of some papers that, you know, we may or may not use in this book, this pop-up book. I'm going to get a fresh, my water's getting a little bit funky too. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of pounce this all around. Just so I get some here and there. And then, you know what? I'm going to take like this dry brush and just kind of flick it in here so that we have some areas of higher concentration, areas of lower concentration. And now let's get a little bit of water and do this, pounce this green around. And just don't think about it. You know, even if you need to close your eyes and do it, just don't think about it. You don't want it to be too anything, too even, too, you're just playing. All right, and now instead of flicking it with my dry brush, let's do something else. Let's try, oh, I don't know. How about, I don't know if this is even gonna work. This is some of that bubble wrap, you know, and I always think, man, whatever. But everybody does have it, so we're gonna try it. And this is not gonna make your bubbles, but it is gonna kind of, just kind of pop that all in. That is actually not too bad right there. Look at that. All right. Well, that looks pretty good. I like that. I'm going to put this over side to dry. Right on, right on. You know what? Let's do a couple more of the craft paint type stuff on just some different papers. How about we do a little bit on some of this drawing paper stuff? And this is really cheap, lightweight drawing paper. So I'm going to just set it aside right there. I'm going to take my paper towel and kind of, because my mat got a little wet. And yes, there's paint on it still. You know, there's probably a million people going to hit me up. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, I ain't got to do nothing. I'm grown. And if I don't do it right and you don't like it, I'm sorry. But we're just here having some fun on a rainy day. And I want to make this cute book for my grandbabies. All right, so, you know, we were kind of going green. Let's keep a green. Let's keep a green going. We'll do a green one, you know, and then I'd maybe like to try to do some purple. Because I did find some purple house paint that I have. So I'm using some green house paint. And I'm just putting it right on my baking mat. Let's put some over here. And I'm just kind of flipping it. Just kind of wipe your brush off. Oh, not a brush. What is this? Popsicle stick? I don't know what they call these anymore. They have new names for everything. they got so much different. I'm saying this and y'all are like, oh, then just, you know, I'm sorry. I'm old. And I never had money growing up either, so I don't know what you call anything. I'm just having a good time. So this is, I'm not really sure what color this is because apparently the label's off. But that's not too bad. It's almost like a soft seafoam, sagey color. We're going to put that on there. I think it just needs something else. What else does it need? Oh, I think that's going to be a little too... Oh, you know what? We can put some of this, what is this? Laguna. My God, that sounds fancy. We'll try a little bit of Laguna on there. You know what? I think I like that. Okay, where'd that brayer go? Right on, right on. So I'm going to get everything I need. Put my other stuff. Oh, no. Scoot it all over a little bit. And I am going to take some book paper again to wipe it off. To wipe that brayer off. That's not dry. Okay, so once again, remember, we're not gonna like press down. We're just gonna kind of just let that brayer kind of roll around. And there's, you know, probably stuff on my mat that needs to be cleaned off. See how it's wanting to separate right there? It's probably some cooking spray. But you know what? That might give a little bit of good texture too. All right, and I think that's about as mixed up as I want to get it. So I'm going to brayer that off onto my paper over here. Put that brayer right side. And see how it's kind of separating right there? And I may actually have had something on my brayer. Remember I said it'll leave like a little mark? You know what? This is the base layer of this anyway. So we're not going to really worry too awful much about that. So let's do this right here. I hope this isn't the shot. And then I'm just gonna, like I said, this is not a heavy weight drawing paper. You can get paper in all kinds of weights. Whatever you can afford or have on hand or get in a just a swap, an art supply swap. And you know, with the economy like it is, and hell, I never have had money. It's not a bad thing to do. Oh, now that's nice, people. Look at that. So not only do we have the colors that we put down, but you remember how I said the gel plates, the real gel plates, they'll put a thin coat of paint, wet paint on there and then pull it up. Well, look, we did that and we pulled up some of this old paint, those more red tones and brown tones from earlier before we even did that watercolor. But I like that. Let's put that to the side. Let's get another piece of this, and I'm gonna lay that right there. I'm sorry, I'm carrying this chihuahua. You know, my kids grew up and they moved off. You know, I got one that comes back every once in a while. Oh, I got too many pieces of paper. And I've always had dogs. I'm not gonna lie. I have always had big dogs. I've always had small dogs. I've always had rescue dogs. You know, and when your kids leave, somehow they turn into the babies. It's crazy. Oh, that's kind of cool too. I'm not 100% on this, but so I'm just gonna keep putting this paper down and pick up some of this color. Like I said, we're gonna be cutting these papers up. Some of them will be backgrounds. Some of them will get cut into like bushes or sky or all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's set this one down somewhere. And you know what? Since it worked so well with me putting that color down, I am actually going to try it. And instead of putting white, usually put that white on there, we're going to put this sand yellow cheap stuff down again. And we're just going to see how that does. So I think you're supposed to let this stuff dry. Let's kiss, what is that, kiss it off? That don't even sound right with some of this paper. And we're going to leave the stripes this time. Why not? Let's try to just get all we can off of it. All right, I wish I had better editing equipment. You know, maybe I could throw a little music on here. I know I sound like a hillbilly, and I am, but I tend to listen to some crazy music. So I don't think you'd appreciate my music anyway. All right, I think that that's pretty well cleaned it off pretty good. And we can use this for something else. I'm just going to sit over here with some of my book paper that I've been messing with. It does look like I have a little bit on there. I'm going to go ahead and blot that off. And this chicken hatching lamp, this heat lamp, ought to dry it pretty quick. All right, we're going to call that good. All right. Okay, I'm going to let this dry for a minute. And once again, this Pekingese is making, it's not Pekingese, this is what I used to have. This Chihuahua is starting to make my arm go to sleep. I got paint on her, look. All right, I'll be back.